done to reverse all this insanity? I told them, your voice, your feet can do it. You have the power to shut this place down and let the world see what a smart and brilliant gurus we have as to what they're doing to us, the people. I am done. Ashni Singh, while in Dubai last week, met with a conglomerate, Mubadala, the company name, the second largest investor in the United Arab Emirates, and tell them that our oil sector, the gold, bauxite, manganese, and other minerals, tourism, hospitality, including expansion of cruise ship facilities, information, communication, and so on, are open to you guys to invest. Uncle, we already got some foreigners here. Oh my, Jin, Minlin, and all the Lins. Try Resources, Rusal, Bosai and Dosai, Likins and the Baishanins, and so many others slipping in our country in secret every day through the Foreign Affairs Ministry under Robert Prasad.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Hello, thank you for tuning in to Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. Welcome to your news at noon. Without further ado, let's get to the news in detail. The Yellowtail project, the fourth to be pursued by ExxonMobil's subsidiary, Esso, in the eastern portion of the Stavro Block, is poised to emit significant amounts of greenhouse gases throughout its predicted 20-year life cycle. According to the project's environmental impact assessment, which is being reviewed by the Environmental Protection Agency, the project's average annual emissions during production operations is estimated to be between approximately 1.11 and 1.4 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent per year. Esso was keen to note that there are no applicable regulatory criteria against which these greenhouse gas emissions can be compared. It noted that it will still endeavor to ensure emissions will be disclosed in accordance with good international oil field practice in aid to managing greenhouse gas emissions at a national and international level. In other news, the National Assembly's Public Accounts Committee was unable to hold its scheduled meeting yesterday, and it will be unable to meet next Monday, since clerks of the constitutional body are quote-unquote stressed out. This is according to a letter that was written to the chairman of the committee, Opposition Member of Parliament Jermaine Figuera, on Thursday by the clerk of the National Assembly, Sherlock Isaacs. Isaacs related to Figuera that due to frequent challenges being encountered at the PAC meetings, the current clerk of the committee has developed health issues because of high stress levels and cannot continue to work with them. He noted too that all clerks from other committees within the Assembly are unwilling to fill the slot because the unprofessional conduct of some PAC members is not conducive to a healthy working environment. As a result, Isaacs could not find a clerk for Monday's meeting, and he is unable to find one for Monday. And now let's tell you, a Brazilian national who is yet to be identified by the police was on Thursday night stabbed to death by his drinking partner following a dispute over gold. According to information, the fatal stabbing occurred sometime around 20 hours 30 that day during a drinking spree at a location in central Barra Mita, Region 1. The police in a report stated that around that time, the men who were known to each other and are both Brazilian nationals, were consuming alcohol in the vicinity of Johnny Phillips Hotel when the heated argument ensued. It is understood that the argument was over a quantity of gold that one of them had brought back from working on a mining operation at the Guyana-Venezuela border. The police said that the argument caused the suspect to arm himself with a knife, which he used to stab the deceased several times to his chest and rib area. And more troubling news, at least 5 gunmen have reportedly invaded DHL, a local franchise of an international shipping company, and carted off 2 safes from the building. The DHL office is located on Cumming Street, Albertown, and according to police, they are hunting the men who had broken into the building around 3:23. According to police, the 2 security guards that were guarding the place were unarmed at the time, and one of them alleged that he was in the front compound of the establishment when a masked man attacked them. The bandit then duct-taped him and accompanied by 4 others who had reportedly jumped a back fence to enter the premises, proceeded to break into the office. His colleague told the cops that he did not hear or see anything because he was indoors at the time and it was raining. Investigators stated that the bandits had carted off with 2 safes and 3 canisters containing an undisclosed amount of cash. And now let's tell you, the Guyana Agricultural and General Workers Union recently stated on its website that oil companies and subcontractors have been replacing locals with foreigners to do driving, cleaning, and other simple jobs. The union stated that in trying to justify this act, the oil companies have reasoned that Guyanese lack the qualifications, skill, and experience to undertake certain basic tasks. However, according to GAWU, it has learned that the tasks some of the companies have hired foreigners to do are not complicated and can be done by Guyanese. GAWU also pointed out that foreigners are not only taking away the jobs from Guyanese, but they are receiving better payment and incentives than the locals. The union further revealed that apart from this, it has been told that some of these foreigners that are being brought to replace locals in the sector have not even received work permits and are working without paying income taxes to Guyana. The union is also calling for the government to urgently investigate this matter, even as it is still actively addressing the enactment of a local content legislation. In other news, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony said yesterday that the government is not in support of calls by some countries for persons to be revaccinated if they had been vaccinated with the Russian Sputnik V vaccine and a non-approved WHO vaccine. It was in September last that the United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention announced that people who received all or some of the recommended doses of a COVID-19 vaccine not listed for emergency use by WHO and FDA may be offered a complete FDA-authorized COVID-19 vaccine series. In its recommendation too, the CDC stated that persons should wait at least 28 days after being administered the last dose of a non-authorized vaccine before being administered the FDA-authorized vaccine. And moving on. The Environmental Protection Agency has announced that there would be at least 2 public consultations on ExxonMobil's 4th project in the Stabroek Block, called Yellowtail. The regulator informs that the session will be held on Monday, October 25th, 2021 at Humaniana from 5 p.m., while the next round is scheduled for Wednesday, October 27th, 2021 at the Anna Regina Town Hall from 9 hours. The EPA was keen to note that all COVID-19 protocols will be in effect. For those who would not be able to attend, written submissions should be addressed to Executive Director, EPA, Ganges Street, Sophia, Georgetown. Concerns can be sent via email address epa@epaguyana.org. According to the project documents, the Yellowtail project will consist of drilling approximately 4-1 to 6-7 development wells, installation and operation of subsea, umbilicals, risers, and flowliness equipment, installation and operation of an FPSO vessel in the eastern half of the Stabroek Block, and ultimately, project decommissioning. And moving on. 2 serving members of the Guyana Police Force were on Thursday placed on a $75,000 bail each after they were charged with rape. The officers, 30-year-old Relon Danrod and 22-year-old Terrence Hamilton, were arraigned in the Lethem Magistrates Courts before Magistrate Alan Wilson, where the charges were read to them. The duo pleaded not guilty to the charge, which states that between August 5th and August 6th last year, they raped a 21-year-old woman at the industrial site located at Tabachenga, Lethem. Magistrate Wilson then placed the men on bail and adjourned the matter to December 6th, 2021. And to wrap things up today, let's tell you that police descended to the number 721 beach yesterday afternoon after they were informed that several coffins with apparent human skeletal remains were visible. Regional Commander Jairam Ramlakan told Kaieteur that ranks visited the location, but nothing of the sort was found. They said too that the tide had changed and the water had already covered the shore where the discovery was made by persons traversing the area. However, a resident of number 70 village said that what was found was nothing strange, and that whenever the tide is low, the coffins with the remains would be visible on the beach. Narendra Ramsamy said over time the burial ground was unearthed due to erosion, but that the bodies were buried there were those of indentured laborers who were brought to Guyana to work on the sugar plantations over 200 years ago. Police are still investigating the matter. And on that rather interesting note, we head over to the page 7 of the Kaieteur News, dedicated to being blunt. Now, even the bandits are learning from some of our leaders. They learn how to fancy up and smooth over their stories. One killed a 19-year-old at an East Coast store and said that he can't remember how he got the murder weapon. Another bandit, who was given a lift by a kind-hearted teacher in the interior, robbed the man of his motorcycle. Then he had the brazenness to tell the police that the teacher pulled a knife on him. Like politicians, like criminals. And with that, we've come to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
Fellow Guyanese, after the newscast at 12 noon every day, I am dedicating some clips with extremely important information pertaining to Guyana's future. Please, I beg you, take some time and listen to them. It is for your interest and future generations. This is a message from Glenn Lal saying thanks for listening to the Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Eid Mubarak, Eidul Adha to you. And to all you guys in here, good night. Josh, I heard a woman confessing at the masjid today to the imam how she and her family beat up a politician. The imam said, "Lady, confess your sins, not your good deeds." I came out the masjid and I couldn't stop laughing. Anyhow, guys, that's a joke. I did laugh out my heart when I heard that joke, because it matches so many politicians across this world. You know, it's fitting. It's fitting, because too many politicians doing too many evil and wicked things in this world. We have many of them right in this country. You agree with me, sir? Yeah, man. Yes. Brothers and sisters, I had promised the first caller Monday night to speak on the Gas to Shore project. And what I'm about to tell you guys here is just the tip of the iceberg on that project. I have never been more serious in my life. Today is a holiday, and I didn't want to come out to work. I didn't plan to do a program. I just wanted to stay home and enjoy this peaceful day, just to please my mom, because she is a Muslim. And growing up in a Muslim home, I can relate to somewhat with all Muslims across this world. Assalamu alaikum to all my brothers and sisters. It simply means, may the peace and blessings of our Creator be upon us all on this special day. So let me say happy Eidul Adha again. And let's get going with tonight's program. Every moment that passes by, the information that I see every day, I just could not stay home. I just can't stay quiet. It's too damning. It's too dangerous. Not just for me and you, but our children and grandchildren. Guys, this gas to show project in which the leaders of this country are silent is nothing but a scam. It's a dangerous road this government and the opposition lead us out down. And we must, as a people, stand up and say something or do something about it. The previous government of Trinidad and Tobago, headed by a lady called Kamla Besesar, she was praised in the public. Man, the whole Caribbean was looking up to her. But she and her government put Trinidad and Tobago in a debt bind with a similar gas to shore project. She had a man named Kevin Ramnarine, who was the energy minister. He was the man in charge of the gas sector in Trinidad and Tobago. He and the finance minister, the former finance minister, entered into a deal with Japan for a gas project. Something just like what we are going into here in this country. That project now got Trinidad and Tobago in a bind. The new government, which is headed by Kaieteur Radio, is trying their best presently to see how they can wriggle out of the project to save Trinidad and Tobago. With that same deal, Kevin Ramnarine and the former finance minister, along with the Prime Minister Kamla Besesar, put the country in. I will speak more on the details of this deal sometime next week, so you guys can get a full understanding of what that country has found themselves in on this gas to shore project with Japan. There is much, much, much more damning and shocking revelations to come. But let me tell you guys this. The same man, Kevin Ramnarine, is advising our government on this gas to shore project. You guys hear that? Yep. He is one of the advisors to our government. So please bear that in mind and let's get on with tonight's business. Brothers and sisters, citizens of this country, we are in a life and death situation. This is not a project that any citizen should take lightly. This is not a Marriott hotel. This is not a Borbees Bridge, a Skeldon plant, or the renovation of the airport. This is one one of the biggest projects in the whole Caribbean, and by far the single largest in the history of Guyana. They started out very nicely by telling all Guyana they want our participation, they want our input. They placed ads in the newspapers, on the TV, on the radio, and also on social media, asking the whole world to participate and or partake. They had the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, conducting what them call a scoping exercise throughout the country and even online. It is basically to hear from the Guyanese people, what are their concerns, what are their fears, what you object to, what you have problems with, so that we, the Guyanese, could have a say on whether this project is good or bad for Guyana. But from the beginning of this project, they have not been forthcoming. They have not been clear and truthful. And I have pointed this out many times on my program. Remember, I told you guys the team headed by Jagdeo and Brasington met the press and told us not to record the proceedings. You remember that?
Yes.
Yes. You guys ever ask yourself why? Joshua, you ever ask yourself why?
Yes.
All the time.
Why they're holding a meeting on such a massive, such a huge project and don't want the nation to know what's going on? Isn't that strange? You guys not smelling something?
Yeah.
You're not smelling danger? And since then, brothers and sisters, they have never faced the nation on anything in the oil and gas sector until now. Guess who's doing all the talking? The biggest crook of the world. The cat, what the leaders, what we leaders put for watch our milk. ExxonMobil. Yeah, man. They are the people who answering questions. And when you ask them at these forums, they say it's not we. Ask your government.
Yeah.
We just participating in the project. We just helping them out. When you ask them for certain information, them say ask the government. When we confront the ExxonMobil people with facts, they say those questions are for your government. Them is the only one helping to push the project. As a matter of fact, they said them take themselves out. It's the government who pushing the project. And you got to go to them for the details. This is just a game they're playing with us, guys. And it's a dangerous Nancy story game they're playing with us and our livelihood. Guyana, let me tell all of you this. I want to be very clear and direct. This scoping exercise, this consultation with us, this participation with the Guyanese people is just a fluff. It is bogus. It's a fraud. Let me repeat that, man. It's a fraud. It's just a formality them have to do to satisfy the requirements of the laws of Guyana. It's nothing more than a farce, because they don't make up their mind that this project, this Ponzi scheme, this fraud must go through. Their own barefaced actions confirms this. Hear what they did. They advertised online and in the newspapers a few days ago how they're looking for private investors for this project. Guys, this public consultation exercise ain't even done yet. And them done they're looking for private people for this project.
Another farce.
You really think they want our input in this project? You really think Jagdeo and Brasington them care about our voice, our concerns, our well-being, our future, our children's future? Man, hell no. No. Them done got the people line up for the project to rob this nation of its God-given wealth, what belong to all of we. It's another PPP project, not the party I'm talking about. A public-private partnership project. One that will be worse than the Marriott and the Berbice Bridge. Those two, the Marriott and the Berbice Bridge, are like pennies compared to this one, this gas project. This one, guys, is billions of US dollars involved, not hundreds of millions, billions of US. And I'm pretty much certain that some of you forget. You forget how these PPP projects does work. Let me give you a quick reminder. Them to take our money, your tax dollars that you pay in every month through your salaries and put it in these projects. Guyana has put the bulk of the money in these projects, and the private people who put in the small change does be guaranteed to collect the hog of the profits in these projects. Man, the Marriott and the Berbice Bridge contract design. It designed in such a way that even if the project doesn't make money, Guyana have to find money to pay the private investors with our tax dollars. That is how Brasington, Jagdeo and Ashni Singh designed them. Let me give you guys a quick example, a simple example. Your daddy puts in $1 million of the family money in a baker shop. He brings in his neighbor with $5,000 in the business and make out a contract which says if the baker shop make money or lose money, the neighbor must get $1,000 a day for the lifetime of the baker shop. That's what it means. So if the baker shop doesn't make money, then the children got to go out and work to pay the neighbor the $1,000 a day from their salary. That is the contract that Jagdeo them signed with the investors for the Berbice Bridge and the Marriott Hotel. I have a gentleman sitting right next to me here. He paid me a visit. He's an accountant by profession, a chartered accountant too. He went through some of these projects, and he just looking at me and smiling here. That's a beautiful deal, man. I want to be in a deal like that. What you say, brother? If I can make money on my little investment, whether this thing make money or not, who doesn't want to be?
It's a win-win.
Who doesn't want to be in such a project? You're always on the win.
Yep.
And the Guyanese dollars is always in the lose. Guys, when I read that ad that Bharat Jagdeo Ministry put out, I hold my head and say, no, no Lord, not again. This country can't take this one. Matter of fact, I had to say a little prayer for Guyana. And all you guys, listen to me carefully.